All right, bear with me. I'm just gonna make sure that the volume is on point. Make sure that the audio is coming through. Make sure that the audio is coming through. All right. All right, cool. All right. Shalom, Yasha. Before I begin this lesson, I want to give all honor, praise, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Rakah, Qudash, for giving me the spirit. And a quick moment to bring this, bring this edification out. I got to rush off. I ain't got a lot of time, so this ain't going to be a long lesson. I know I say that a lot, but this truly isn't going to be. But the willingness edifying nonetheless. Shalom to you, Israelites scattered abroad. It may look like these other nations, but you see, line goes back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Shalom to you, Arquaf in order. Shalom to you, brothers on highways and hedges, giving up your bodies a living sacrifice by bringing out this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding to seal the elect, to help seal the elect, and double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone who I learned this truth from. I'm not officially a part of their camp, but I learned strictly under their teachings, as I recognize them through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahshai to be the real teachers, the real prophets of these end times, sent by Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. All right. So as you see in the title of this lesson, the truth shall make you free, right? Because a lot of truth is happening. It's all happening, man. Let me show you a video just to set this off, and we'll lead with this because there's a lot of people that are exposing the small hats, those fake JEWs, as frauds, man. You got to think about it. These people are leaving Israel in droves because of the war that's going on there. When the script, they don't fit the prophecies. Scriptures say that, when the real Israelites return to that land, that, that there will be peace in that land. And now you can see that, these people aren't the Israel of the Bible. They're not the Israel that is spoken of in the Bible, man. So all these Christians, I hope a lot of Christians that believe that they're the chosen people, I hope a lot of them see this and start to consider their ways and what they've been taught in that Christian church, man, because it's all lies. They ain't been taught the truth in the Christian church. They're taught that they have to bless those people are in that land. Otherwise, they won't be blessed. They think that the Lord is dealing with them, that they're the true chosen people, when it's very plain to see that they're not, man. All right. Now, I'll go ahead and play this clip first, right? And then we'll speak on it. I've got a few precepts to bring out, and then we'll wrap it up.
Israel in the Bible is not the same Israel that we have today. People are over here thinking that the modern Israel is the same Israel that God promised in the Bible, but it's not. In Genesis 32, Jacob wrestles with God all night long. After that, God changed his name to Israel, which means he who struggles with God. So Israel became a nation because Jacob's 12 sons formed the 12 tribes of Israel. And here is where the term God's chosen people comes from. That's why I insist a lot nowadays when I hear the self-proclaimed starseeds telling people that they are the chosen ones. You are culturally appropriating the term. And starseeds were never chosen. They were volunteers. Let's go back to Israel. So Jacob's 12 sons and the 12 tribes of Israel were the chosen ones, but they were not chosen because of their land. They were chosen because of God's promise. Just remember that the kings of Israel were David and King Solomon. Both David and Solomon lost their title, lost their land, because they chose to turn away from God. So King Solomon was exiled. King David was exiled. Israel wasn't formed again until 1948. So now we have the Israel that's a political state, but it's not the biblical Israel. So the land does not define God's people anymore, because these aren't the descendants of the 12 tribes of Israel, the 12 sons of David, if that makes sense. But for those of you that have been defending Israel, thinking that those were God's chosen people, they're not one and the same. They're not the same Israel. So bottom line, the chosen ones of God, it was never about the land. It was never about Israel, the land. It was about your spirituality, your connection to God. It's all about the relationship they had with God, being the descendants of the 12 tribes, which is not what modern day Israel is. So there's a lot of confusion and a lot of misunderstanding, in my opinion, today in modern day Israel, because most people don't even know this.
Now, you know, most of what she's saying is true. I mean, she was off on, you know, one little thing she said was is that she was implying that, you know, it's to be of the lost tribes of Israel, it's a spiritual thing about your spirituality, where, you know, these heathen, they don't understand, because it wasn't given to them to understand, that it's a seed line thing. You can't be grafted into a seed line. There's no such thing as being grafted in if you're not of that nation. You understand? You have to be of the bloodline, the seed line, right? So, you know, she's offering that little bit of, you know, you got to take the meat from the bone, but she's on point, because, you know, those people in that land are of the state of Israel, which was a creation, right, through the Balfour Declaration in 1948, right? So these people are not genuine people of that land. You know, they're converts, right? Now, the true people of that land are not meant to go back there until the Lord returns, and that's when you're going to experience the kingdom of heaven on earth. You know, the scriptures say, as thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. So the kingdom of heaven is on earth, which is a new rulership. It is the rulership of the true biblical Israelites, when the Lord cleans out the gutter rats out that land and puts us back in it, right? Now, and the law will go forth from that land, right? So this is, I'm going to start with John 8:32. It says, and ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. It'll make your mind free, okay? So when you know the truth, you're free from the lies and the confusion. Because, you know, a lot of Christians, they are taught that those are the people of the Lord, and they're looking at the genocide and murder they're committing and atrocities that they're committing, right? And they're like feeling forced to have to, you know, a lot of them don't want to, but they think that they have to. They think they're doing the right thing because the Lord commands it, right? But in their spirit, they're probably thinking, this just ain't right. Like these, you know, what the Bible says, we got to do it. So we got to do it. So they're just running with it, right? Well, hopefully this will make you free, because this is the truth here, that those aren't the people of the Bible, man. Okay. Now the Bible does speak of them, which we're going to get into in a sec, but they don't fulfill the prophecies of the true biblical Israelites, right? And it's very, very easily proven if you would just listen to us, what they call Black Hebrew Israelites, right? You know, we're the worst thing going. You know, they want to look at us as, you know, the problem. We're preaching hate, we're preaching division. Hey, listen to what we're saying, man, because we're teaching you the truth that could make you free. It says in Psalms 85:11, truth shall spring out of the earth, and righteousness shall look down from heaven. I think that's it on that. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Straight and to the point, right? So this is what's going to happen in the end. Truth is going to spring out of the earth, and righteousness is going to look down from heaven. See, righteousness is soon going to be in the earth, man. Right now it's not. But you know, and the truth isn't fully here, but the truth is here, and it starts with what the elders and the apostles are bringing out. You know what I mean? We're bringing out the truth, which is going to flourish until the day of the Lord, when it's going to be fully implemented. But right now, you know, the truth is here for those who have the eyes to see. You know what I mean? And gravitate toward this truth, man. So this is what is prophesied to happen in the end, man. Let's go to Second Ezra 6:27. It says, "For evil shall be put out," right? Hasn't happened yet because nothing but wickedness back to back to back. If you miss one day in this truth of watching and keeping up with what's going on, you're gonna miss a whole lot because every single day there's so much happening. It's very, very hard to keep up with. There is not no more sitting around pondering on what to do a lesson about. Them days are past, man. Literally. Like, I did a lesson the other day about grow your beard, and it was like, man, you know what I mean? Like, that was kind of that was because I was sat in a work van, and I know scriptures off the top of my head to bring that out quick, and I was like, I could bring that out quick because it was on the back burner, but after it was up and done, it was like, man, so much going on. Like, no time to be talking about growing your beard, but it's all fine nonetheless. But there's so much going on right now involving prophecy that all these little lessons about growing your beard and this and that, hey, they ain't making sense right now. It's just like, we should be focusing on this, all this stuff going on. It says, "For evil shall be put out, and deceit shall be quenched." So deception is going to be quenched, right? When the real Israelites return to that land. And even before, because right now we're quenching it through this truth. The truth is in the earth now. Light is come into the world, right? But men choose darkness rather than light because their deeds are evil, roughly paraphrasing, right? So it's in the world now, but it hasn't fully been implemented as of yet. It isn't fully flourishing, is what I'm trying to say. So this is Ezekiel, because this explains who's in that land right now. Ezekiel 36:5 says, "Therefore, thus saith the Lord power, surely in the fire of my jealousy have I spoken against the residue of the heathen." Right? It says, "and against all Idumea." See? Boom. Idumea, you got to understand, Idumea is the Greek term for the nation of Edom, which are the biblical Edomites, right? Now, the children of Esau are the ones who are the progenitors of the biblical Edomites, right? So basically, this is talking about Esau, okay, in a nutshell. So it says, "and against all Idumea, which have appointed my land, the Holy Land, into their possession," right? Because they're there now through 1948 and the Balfour Declaration, and they stole that land from what we call the Palestinians today, who weren't the rightful rulers of that land either. We got run out of there in 70 AD and haven't been back since. Okay. And you've had nothing but heathen occupying it. But the ones who occupy it in the end times now is Idumea, the Edomites, Esau. Okay. The children of Esau. It says, "which have appointed my land into their possession with the joy of all their heart, with despiteful minds to cast it out for a prey." So this is what they've done. They're fulfilling a certain prophecy of these people going into that land, but they're not the Israel of the Bible. They're not the ones that are beloved of the Lord, man. So it says, "how are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up?" So this is what's happening now. His hidden things are being sought up. Esau is being searched out. We're finding out his lies, his deception. It's all coming out, man. As we get closer and closer to the end, everybody's starting to realize, through their actions mainly, that these aren't the people of the Lord, man. Even if they're not, don't have a big understanding of the Holy Bible, even if they're atheists, they're all finding out and seeing that this man ain't right. These people are evil, right? So how are the things of Esau? Remember, Esau is what we mentioned here, what it says here, the Idumea, right? So this is speaking about them, the people that have stolen that land. How are the things of Esau searched out and his hidden things sought up? So that's what's happening, man. Let me go ahead and play another video real quick. Last video, because Candace Owens, she went in on a recent interview between Tucker Carlson and I forget that guy's name. I'm sure a lot of you know who he is. I forget his name though. But there was a recent interview between these two guys, and it's kind of gone viral. And Tucker Carlson is questioning him about the authenticity of these so-called JEWs, right? And are they the Israel of the Bible? So everybody's speaking about it now, man. Okay, so check this out. I'm gonna play this, and then I'll go back to the last two precepts I got, and then we'll close it out.
Where does my support for Israel come from? Number one, because biblically we're commanded to support Israel. But number two,
Hold on.
I'm not holding on.
Hold on. You're a senator, and now you're throwing out theology, and I am a Christian, and I am allowed to weigh in on this. We are commanded as Christians to support the government of Israel?
We are commanded to support Israel. And what
does that mean, Israel?
We're told those who bless Israel will be blessed.
But what, hold on, define Israel. This is important. Are you kidding? This is a majority Christian country.
Define Israel? Do you not know what Israel is? That would be the country you've asked like 49 questions about.
So that's what Genesis, that's what God is talking about.
The nation of Israel, yes.
And so is that the current borders, the current leadership? He's talking about the political entity called Israel?
He's talking about the nation of Israel. Yeah, nations exist, and he's discussing a nation. A nation was the people of Israel.
Is the nation
They're the
God's
descendants of
referring
Abraham.
to in Genesis, is that the same as the country run by Benjamin Netanyahu right now?
Yes.
It is.
You see, Tucker Carlson, man, he's had a run-in with the Israelites before. So I'm sure ever since then, because this was years ago, he ran into Great Millstone, and boy, I believe that forever changed his life, that experience, because he learned some things that day, you know. And I'm sure since then he's been doing a lot of research, and he probably lost sleep at night and stuff, because what he found out was that he's an Edomite, and that he's going into captivity, and that we're getting ready to rule the world, right? Which obviously Tucker Carlson ain't gonna just let that slide and not give it a thought. He's gonna do his research, and that's the type of man he is. He's gonna look into such a bold, such a explosive statement, right? Now, he's saying to this other guy, right, that those aren't people of the land. Basically, they're not the ones that they're a government, they're a creation, they're the state of Israel, they're not the Israel of the Bible, is what he's saying, which he's absolutely right. Like, you got a lot of Edomites that are slamming Tucker Carlson that don't agree with him, but hey, that's the spirit of the devil, man. They're the same people that think that Ukraine is a righteous country and that Israel is a righteous country, and that we need to be, funding them and fighting for them and supporting them. Right? They're the same people that think that Trump is doing a good job of getting the immigrants out of the country. These are the same Edomites, man, the devil. Okay, so we can't listen to them, right? But the scriptures do say that they'll make their tongue fall upon themselves, which is what's happening with Tucker Carlson. He's basically revealing the truth, which exposes his people as frauds, as liars, right? Now, Candace Owens is going to respond. Let me run it back a little bit so we don't miss nothing of what she says. Now, check this out, man.
Yes,
it is.
And I'm really happy he said that, because when you hear it, you realize how ridiculous it sounds. Even if you're not following the theology, if you don't identify as a Christian, you realize that you have a senator that is sitting across saying that his number one reason, he didn't say one of the reasons, he said my number one reason that I support Israel is because the Bible commands me to do so. And just so you know, the Bible does not command, and this is what Tucker Carlson is getting to in that clip, it absolutely does not command you to support the modern state of Israel. Like Genesis is pointing to the modern 1948 created state of Israel, and you must support it, despite the fact that it is very much involved in what can only be described as demonic behavior since its creation, right? And so you're going to ignore every other biblical passage. You're going to misinterpret this one. It's a dispensationalist heresy, which was factually funded by the World Zionist Congress. And we can do another episode on that as I present to you guys all of the evidence that what it guided the notations. This really stems from the Scofield Bible, the heresy of the Scofield Bible. Scofield himself was an absolute fraud who got funded and was overseas and alleges that he wrote all of these notes in the Bible and is telling people how to read their Bibles. The first time annotations were put underneath the passages. So this is what Genesis says, and this is what it means. And this is how this heresy arrived in America. Then somehow this guy is able to becomes the most printed book, and Oxford Press gets behind it because like a random pastor. You get the idea here. It was very much a funded effort to have Christians misunderstand the Bible. And Ted Cruz is one of these Christians.
So you got to understand, man, the lies go deep. We're living in a time where confusion and lies is at an all-time high, man, you know? So this is why, you know, things are happening the way they're happening, because truth is coming back into the earth, right? Let's read this. Jeremiah 49:7. It says, concerning Edom, the ones that possess that land right now, calling themselves Israelis, they're so-called white people, okay? They're just a different tribe, right? It says, concerning Edom, thus saith Yahweh of hosts, is wisdom no more in Teman? Is counsel perished from the prudent? Is their wisdom vanished, right? So the wisdom of the Edomites is vanishing. These people are sloppy with their deception. You know, everyone's clued up to how they roll, how they get down with the, you know, Afghanistan Afghanistan has weapons of mass destruction. You know what I mean? Now they're on that hype of trying to, you know, to see people with their old tricks, same old song and dance. Oh, now, what is it? Iran has weapons of mass destruction, and no one's buying it anymore, man. Your wisdom has failed. Your propaganda is shit. We all know your tricks, right? It says, flee ye, Jeremiah 49:8. It says, flee ye, turn back, dwell deep, O inhabitants of Dedan. For I will bring the calamity of Esau upon him, the time that I will visit him. So Esau's catching hell right now, and he's fumbling his kingdom. Everything's effing up for him. Nothing's running right. He's through. It's over. You know, the modern day Roman Empire is falling, man, just like the old one, right? It says, because the Lord is bringing the calamity of Esau upon him, the time that he will visit him, which is right now in these end times. The Lord is visiting him, okay? He's getting exposed. Come on, what's going on here? Right, so Jeremiah 49:9, it says, if grape gatherers come to thee, would they not leave some gleaning grapes? If thieves by night, would they destroy? Will they destroy till they have enough? Right? So basically, you know, if somebody steals, they normally leave a little something behind. You know, they don't steal everything, but Esau, man, he'll strip your land of all its resources and take everything, because he's a thief that cometh not brought forth to steal, kill, and destroy. You know, destroy by destabilizing countries and making them poor. This man is a thief, a liar, and a destroyer, man. He's the devil that the Bible's speaking of, which we're trying to get through to a lot of you simpletons out there, man. Jeremiah 49:10, it says, but I have made Esau bare, meaning exposed, right? He's naked. He's on full display, man, for all to see who he is. I have made Esau bare. This is the doing of the Lord, man. It says, I have uncovered his secret places, right? So they're hiding themselves as Romans, Russians, British, Germans, French, but they're the same people. Israelis, right? Fake JEWs. They're disguising themselves as these people, but the Lord is exposing them, okay? He's uncovering their secret places that they're hiding. I'm a German, I'm a Russian. No, you're an Edomite, and it's coming out. Everyone gonna know. It says, and he shall not be able to hide himself, because he's Cain, man. He's a sea line of Cain. Cain was a fugitive and a vagabond in the earth, meaning he was running from his crimes. He's hiding. He's a traveler. He's a vagabond, you know. He doesn't have a place to settle. He's always calling himself by a different nation, but he's, you know, his latest one is that they're white people, right? But he's the Edomite. He's not going to be able to hide himself anymore, right? It says his seed is spoiled, and his brethren, and his neighbors, and he is not. Meaning he's getting ready to be nothing. Okay, he's getting ready to be non-existent, right? I think that's it on that. Yeah. All right, we'll leave that there. Let's read Psalms 64 and 5. It says, they encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune of laying snares privily. They say, who shall see them? See? They do all these secret things behind the scenes, thinking they're always going to get away with it. But now the jig is up, man. Everybody's looking at you and realizing what you're up to. There are no weapons of mass destruction. Iran was not building no nuclear bombs, okay? But this is all coming out now because it's the same old song and dance to get people on board to try to, you know what I mean, justify the slaughtering of, the people of Iran, which they've been trying for about 30 years to get at Iran because Iran don't have a central bank. This is what it's all about. Anyway, Lord willing, because I got a few clips concerning that. Lord willing, I'll do a lesson on that particular subject in the future. But for now, let's just crack on with this, wrap this up, and on to the next one, man. Psalm 64 and 6. They search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search. See? Oh, we're going to say that they have weapons of mass destruction. Therefore, you know what I mean? We're gonna be justified in destroying the bad guy, right? The boogeyman, which has all lies. It's all coming out. So they search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search, both the inward thought of every one of them, every Edomite, man. These elites, you know what I mean? Because none of them are right. They're all in cahoots with each other, man. They're all in bed with each other. They're all on board with the same agenda, right? It says, and the heart is deep, the mind is deep. They think deep into these things, man. That's why they have their G7 summits, their Bilderberg meetings every year, right? Because they discuss things behind the scenes in secret that we're not meant to know about. It's all done in secret. It says, but the Most High shall shoot at them with an arrow, right? What do you think that arrow is? It's talking about them nukes, and it don't mean an arrow as in one arrow. You're just gonna launch one nuke at them, boom, a little pea shooter, boom. No, man, ain't one little firecracker gonna hit America and destroy it. But he's gonna shoot at them with an arrow means he's gonna shoot at them with them nukes. It says, suddenly shall they be wounded. And there's that word suddenly, because he's gonna come as a thief in the night. It's gonna happen all of a sudden, right? When they're saying peace and safety, which they're screaming right now, then sudden destruction. It says, so they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves, right? Which I believe to be an Edomite, but I could be wrong. This woman right here, let me just play that real quick, just a little bit.
Israel in the Bible is not the same Israel that we have today. People are over here thinking that.
See what I mean? So, you got Tucker Carlson. I just showed you that interview. That's their people, man. It says, so they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. They're exposing themselves, man. Okay. It says, and all that see them, meaning all that realize that these people are frauds, that they're the wicked of the Bible. Even your average trailer park trash Edomite, right? When you realize that nation of people ain't right, that they're the wicked, they're the devil, and you know what I mean? If you truly see them for who they really are, which is the Edomites, yeah, you're gonna flee away. That's why it says, all that see them shall flee away. Everybody that understands the truth, because you don't see clearly. You're not seeing things for what they are if you're not in the if you're being if you're buying into the lies, right? That's why it says in John 8 and 32, and ye shall know the truth, right? So when you know the truth, it says, and the truth shall make you free. So you're going to be free, meaning you're going to be able to see them. You're going to be able to see the lies, see things for what they really are. So they're going to make their own tongue fall upon themselves. It says, and all that see them, know the truth, shall flee away. See, you're going to realize they're your enemy, and you're going to turn to Yahweh Shem Yahushai if the Lord is dealing with you, man. It says, all men, and Psalm 64:9, and all men shall fear and shall declare the work of the Lord. It says, for they shall wisely consider of his doing. See, that us Hebrew Israelites are not a racist hate cult, whatever you want to call us, that we are doing the will of the Lord to bring truth in the earth before the arrival of the Lord, the King, right? Hamashiach Yahushua, who the world calls Jesus, right? So basically, the Lord is using the prophets to prepare a way for the elect, because, you know, everybody has to have a fair shot at hearing the gospel before the Lord does what he does. Therefore, he's justified in what he does, and you can't say you didn't have a chance to receive the truth. Why did you destroy me, Lord? I didn't even know about the Hebrew Israelites. Yeah, right. See, all men shall fear and shall declare the work of the Lord. This is after all is said and done. You're going to realize, hey, this was actually the work of the Lord. Those so-called black Hebrew Israelites, we thought they were racist hate preachers, but they were actually the children of the Lord. They were the real biblical Israelites. They were the ones that really belonged in that land. So they're going to finally understand. It says, for they shall wisely consider of his doing. See? And that's going to be the outcome when all is said and done. It says, the righteous shall be glad in Yahweh. So the ones that are doing the will of the Lord right now, right? Because we're going to see that he's righteous. He's true. Everything he says is true, man. He's the one we can truly trust. It says, the righteous shall be glad in Yahweh and shall trust in him. And all the upright in heart shall glory. See? And that's what we're doing, man. We're giving glory to all honor, praise, and glory in our lessons, man, to Yahweh, but Hashem Yahushai, man. Okay? I think that's it. All right, so I'm gonna leave it there, man. Like I said, it's gonna be a quick one. Lord willing, you've been edified by this short lesson. All right, I'm gonna close it out here. I'm gonna give all honor, praise, and glory unto Yahweh, but Hashem Yahushai, but Hashem Rakah, Kodash, Shalom, Yasha Allah.